All right, so for tools needed here, you'll need, for the front diff, to take out that drain plug, you'll need the stock one at least, you'll need a 5mm hex. To take out the rear plugs here, you'll need a 14mm socket. To take out the filler plug on the front, you'll need a 21mm on the front, and that 14 is for both in the rear. In the manual, it is recommended that you use, for the 2023, 2024 Yamaha Vikings, the manual says Yamalube SAE 80W90 GL5, and I've been told from two different places, two different tech guys or technicians, that's, I mean, these things are so similar anyway. Like GL5 to GL4 is like 2% difference in additives or something like that. But I've been told that they're going to start getting rid of that or changing it to like a dedicated side-by-side oil, and that this works just as well, and they don't care if you use it. So that's what I've heard from two service people. Obviously check that out yourself if you care. I did, so I called another one, and they both said it'd be okay. So I need this. I use this in four-wheelers anyway, so I can't. It's barely going to be any different anyway. As long as, I mean, what's the old saying? Any oil is better than no oil, and these are basically very, very similar. So look into it more if you care. But that's what I've been told, and obviously, if you still have a bunch of that, that's perfectly fine too. So, and I have like one or two of these left, so that's what I'm going with. All right, we're back here at the rear diff. This is going to change out the final gear oil here, and this one here is the fill and check bolt, and this one down there is the drain bolt, and that's specified here in the owner's manual. You don't even have to get that. You're welcome, future you, in case you forget. But anyways, that's it. So as always, be super careful when you're taking these out. These two bolts in the back take 14mm, and that's what I'm going to be using. In the front, if it's anything like some other Yamahas I've had experience with, it's going to be some form of a hex, but we will see when we get there. But I'm going to take these out. You always take the filler out first. For some reason, in case you can't get that one out, you're not running dry. So we're going to take this out, and they're aluminum as always, so just make sure you're always going the right direction, and be careful. No hulking it back here. Alright, I've got the fill and check bolt out, and that's just right down here. Washers are super important for leak, so that washer still looks good. So what I did was I see that the drain hole here that goes to the skid is not perfectly lined up with this. So when I take this out, it's going to leak all over. Now it's only going to be a little bit because these diffs barely hold anything, but I have one of these extra like garbage little funnels here. So I figured I'd try and see if I could reduce my mess a touch and have it go in my pan more without having to wipe as much. Now I ripped it a little bit, but I'm trying to get it in there good, but I don't know, maybe a little bit extra if I can get my mitts in there here. Okay, I'm out, screwing it out now. Don't drop it. And almost pull. Oh, look at that. Now, so far so good. I don't know when it starts to trickle back. But you can see, look, I'm trying to hold up this side here. You can see how most of it's now making it down that funnel rather than just going all over this plate. And then obviously, all right, well, I'm just going to sit here and let this drain out. And then, as I said, be very careful. I know this is a bit bigger one, but some of these diffs, man, they give you the dumbest bolts. They're so tiny. They're so easy to strip on this aluminum. So either get your torque wrench out or be aware, like it has to be just enough. You don't want any more than what's needed to put these bolts back in. So I'll let this finish dripping out here and we'll move on. Alright, so what I did here to fill it was I got my I don't know, gear shaft oil, I guess, and I put it on my boot. You can see here, and then I held the pump with my left hand, and with my right hand, which is now holding this phone here, you just put it right in there and hold the bottle up with your boot, pump it with your left hand, put it right up there. Once it starts to come back out of that fill hole, stop, put your bolt back in, you're done. There you go. That's the final gear oil drain and fill onto the front. Alright, now we're looking at the front diff here, and you can see we got the the emblem here. Here's the bar going under above the skid plate, and right here is where this bolt comes out of. So right there, and that is your check and fill, right, that one. Okay, so I got this out. This one comes with a crush washer, so if it needs to be replaced, replace that. But I'm going to set that down right over here. And then the drain is right here underneath, and it feels like a hex. So we will figure out what hex that is right now. Alright, so we're down here, and this is going to take a little tiny wrench. I need an extension. This is the one I grabbed, and it's going to be right in this skid plate, this circle cut out here. And this is a 5, oh, there it is. This is a 5mm hex. And let's see, I'll get the camera right up in there, not drop my phone. And that's it right in there. You just do that. And this is going to be a tiny bolt, like not smart tiny. People strip these regularly, so make sure you're always going the right direction. And I mean, the spec on these is like, I would assume probably like 7 pounds. Read the manual. Be very gentle, and I mean, you can even get a different bolt to put in here. I'll show you that in a minute, though. I'm gonna get this one out. All right, we got that hex bolt out, and it's draining out. There's these little diffs don't have that much in there, but we're draining it out. So I mean, I just got it out a second ago, so it's already dripping. But anyways, you can see how tiny Yamaha, and I mean other manufacturers do some of these really tiny ones too, but look how tiny that is. I mean, just ridiculous, in an aluminum housing too. So with the washer, I mean, how many threads do we get in there? Anyways, people break these and strip these out all the time. I've even heard people tell me that like if it's recommended that you do 7 pounds of torque, I've heard people say that before they even click at 7 pounds, these will strip out. I've actually had one strip out from being seized. I put it in there. It was all good for 2 years. I went to change it, and slowly building up to take it out only, obviously going the right direction. It stripped it out going backwards, so when I pulled it out, the threads just came with it. So, and it had been in there leak free for almost 2 years on one of these things. So what I did was, I gotta get it here, but let me go get it. I bought a replacement bolt, and I'll show you why that is a nice cheap way to go for some insurance. All right, here we go. So this is the stock hex bolt for the front diff on these Yamaha Vikings. I'm pretty sure it's that way in the Kodiak 700. It's that way in the Grizzlies, and they are super tiny. And what you can do is you can buy a different bolt here and look at the thread difference. I mean, that is insanely different. So then you think, in this, you know, this comes with a washer too. I think they paid like 20, I don't know, like 20 bucks for this thing. This is, so you know, this is a gold plug MP12, and it'll fit all these, you know, all these Yamahas that use these 700s or these 686s. I'm pretty sure the diffs are all basically the same thing. So lifesaver. I mean, if you strip these out and take it to the dealership, I'll bet you they're going to charge you pretty darn good. Otherwise, you can just be preemptive here and get this thing for like 20 bucks. Or even if you do strip it, the thing about this housing is this is like 3 threads. The housings on these things, usually, I'll get a light up there and I'll show you, but there's usually like maybe a dozen threads or something like that. So let's look. All right, let's see if I got the light on here. Oh, it doesn't want to focus right. There. Alright, let's see. There, can you see? Oh, making a mess of my phone here. But anyways, you see how many more threads there are in there? Alright, so anyways, I'm going to put this plug in now and severely reduce my risk here. And honestly, I mean, it's got that gold plug magnetic tip in it too, so that's just a better protected engine too, so, or diff, I should say. I mean, you can buy them to replace all these plugs, but I know these super short ones are just lead to trouble. Alright, I just got that new gold plug bolt in there right there. And if you get one, that takes a 16 millimeter. And then now we come back up and we gotta fill. So let's get to that. Okay, same technique. Put the bottle on my boot, pump left hand, hold the hose in with the right hand, right in here, put your bolt back in. This is a 21 millimeter here, and like I said, to take that out, that's that down here, that's that 5 millimeter hex, or that 16 millimeter if you get the gold plug, and then you're good to go here. That is the front and rear differential oil changes. All set.